You're insecure, don't know what for.
I'm finding a hole, stand by.
He's finding a hole walking by his door.
Pantalones gratis con Maccheroni Bologna. Esto es Los Pantalones Libres de Podcast.
The Pants Free Podcast.
Pantaloni Libero.
Greetings and welcome to another edition of the Pants Free Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at Pants Free Pod or me at Marconi Bologna. And Nick J. Miles is also on Twitter at Nick J. Miles. Yeah, he's English, and just like the TARDIS on Doctor Who, he's bigger on the inside.
Absolutely. And more meaty as well.
Do you do anything special with your Honduran lover on Valentine's Day?
No, I was actually traveling back from the Toyota RAV4 event in Scottsdale, Arizona, so I didn't get home until about 9:30 last night.
So you guys are like an old married couple, aren't you?
No, I brought flowers and
did?
chocolates.
Oh, did you give him a good rogering?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. You know what?
Do the English still refer to it as a good rogering? Because, I mean, that's what I always think when I think of English sex.
Well, maybe in the 40s. Now it's called a good shag.
Yeah, shag.
Or did you give her a good seeing to?
Seeing to?
Yeah.
I think every week on the podcast, you should give me like another term that isn't normally used. Like I remember we used to have a boss at KNRK. He was also English, and the two of you together, it was like the best. I would just sit there and laugh because, like, if somebody's like having a laugh in your expense, are you taking a piss at me?
Hey, the piss. Are you taking the piss? Are you taking the piss? It wouldn't be at me.
Oh, okay.
Like, are you taking the piss? Like you're mocking me.
But then also, isn't getting drunk called let's get pissed? Do you also refer to beer as piss?
It's not that super popular, but they would know what you're saying. Yeah,
is that like more? That's like more of a New Zealand thing, right?
No, because
Where's
know what
the piss?
happens is that's where it ends up.
Yeah. And it's delicious.
And you say, will you pour me another glass of piss? All right, here it comes. Usually, though, when you refer to going to the bathroom, you call it if you go to urinate, you call it a slash.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's because it's like it's like you have a laser, so you're slashing around in the bathroom, and then the toilet is like a wet, smelly, dank place, so you call it the bog. So I'm going for a slash in the bog.
Oh my god! And that's this week's English lesson from Nick. Well, Nick, it's been like, I think since the Super Bowl, since I had cheese. And before the Super Bowl, I'd gone without cheese for like 2 weeks.
You can't have a Super Bowl without cheese.
I had pizza and other stuff at the Super Bowl and nachos and stuff like that. But other than that, I've kept completely away from cheese. And I don't know how I did it or if it's something I should do, but I just, it's one of those things where if you have cake every day, you'll probably die. But if you have cake once in a while, it's like, yeah, this is good cake. Oh, I just got that at the store. I don't care. It's delicious. Yeah, well, yeah, it fell on the floor. It's the best cake I've ever had. But if you have it every day, you're like, I'm sorry, sir. Could you make this from scratch? Yes.
Absolutely.
And so I think like cheese or like pizza, I could eat a piece of cardboard with cheese on it. And I'd be like, oh, my God, this is the best thing I've ever had.
Right.
So, but I like that because, sometimes if you have regular drinking and then you take a break from drinking and then you drink again, your tolerance is like, whoa, I just had like a sip and I'm silly. What is that, absinthe?
The funny thing is, too, when you don't have something for a while, like I don't eat wheat very often. And then I also don't really eat that much dairy. If I eat dairy, it's sort of like goat cheese or feta or that sort of thing. But
wait, hold on a second. Just tell me all of your favorite cheeses again. Go ahead, just talk cheese. Just a second.
Lindbergh.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Camembert.
Oh God.
Mahone.
Oh.
Brie. Havarti.
Delicious.
Anyway, I was in Chicago and I hadn't had wheat or dairy for a while, and I ordered a pizza. But I couldn't just have a pizza; I had to order it with sausage and pepperoni. And I think before I even got out of the restaurant, I was like, "Oh, that was such a mistake."
Right? Yeah. What's weird is like you notice like how your body adjusts to not having something. that's a sign that maybe you should like lay off of that stuff as a regular part of your diet. I'm cool with having sausage. I mean, it's good, delicious sausage and bacon and cheese. But maybe I have it like on the weekend. I have a breakfast with sausage and cheese.
Right.
Instead of every single day.
I've noticed something else too, that hunger quite often is disguised as being thirsty. Like the difference between being thirsty and hunger is a lot closer than you think. And so I can often have a glass of water and be satisfied for another hour or so rather than just go in and dive in and have an early lunch that's super fatty or whatever.
But I make these videos on YouTube now, and I look at myself and I'm like, oh my God, what you've been working out for what? You look like a homeless person. Because I'm growing facial hair right now for a YouTube bit that I'm doing.
Right.
For next week's video. And I look like I live on the streets. Like you saw me in that, in the latest, like I've been, putting different stuff on YouTube channel, like my iPhone channel.
Uh-huh.
And I look like I've just gotten out of like a Venezuelan prison or something. I haven't shaved for 17 weeks.
And you know what? I think that's okay once in a while. It doesn't work for me because I have to do television, but
But what you're saying is, if you're a YouTuber, it's just fine.
Yeah, YouTuber, because there are some of them are very scuzzy.
Oh well, not the YouTube videos I watch, Nick.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, mine aren't necessarily on YouTube though.
Wait, what are you talking about?
DirtyHomelessSex.com.
Oh yeah, right.
Here is your late news roundup from the world and the nation.
Well, Nick, it's time now for the Week in Pants Free News. It's what we call news. Some of these stories you may have heard, some of them you haven't, but you haven't heard our take on them yet. So now, here's a news professional, Nick J. Miles.
Before I begin, I would just like to do a little disclaimer here. I have a friend. I have many friends, but a group of my friends get on the Xbox every night, and we play Battlefield 3 together. And we're all pretty hard asses, and we're pretty good at it. And our age range goes from about 18 to 60, and I have about 20 friends and we're pretty close friends. And I would say one of my best friends, his name is Lucky, and me and him were the only ones on the Xbox the other night, and he said to me, now no one's around, I need to ask you a personal question. And I said, okay, what's coming? Like, if you're in love with another man, how do you tell him? I'm waiting for that sort of thing.
Like a Dr. Drew moment.
Yeah, Dr. Drew moment. And he said, I really need to ask you this with nobody else in the room with us right now. And I said, okay, well, what is it? He goes, what is the Pants Free podcast?
So is he's listening or he's not listening?
Well, he listened to it. And he started to, and he didn't really understand it, and he thought it might be inappropriate, and he wasn't sure he should be listening to it.
That's funny because I just decided one day we just decided out of the blue to call the podcast the Pants Free Podcast because we thought it's easy to remember, and it's people might go, oh yeah, I like to not have pants on all the time too, and then I realized having like a female guest, like inviting someone to be on the Pants Free Podcast. They're kind of apprehensive, like, what is, So, eventually everyone will not be wearing pants, but for now, it's just Nick and I.
The funny thing is, too, and his name is Lucky, I think he was just absolutely bowled over when he realized it wasn't some kind of porn show that I was doing. Anyway, on to the news.
Yes, the porn-free podcast.
So
that's Nick's other channel,
right? You know who Oscar Pistorius is?
Yeah, he's the guy that was the Olympian that didn't win anything, but he has no legs.
Right, and so he is this. He's basically the what do they call him? The amputee, double amputee,
or Olympic loser.
Olympic loser. He was a track star too. Anyway, he was charged in a South African court with murdering his girlfriend.
And he was in court and he started crying like a baby.
Well, it's who knows what emotionally he's going through. I mean, the death of somebody, and if you were involved somehow, is pretty awful. But to me, it's the strangest thing in the world that this guy could go from being expected to be world number one to losing to killing. You know, it seems
do you think him not winning an Olympic medal led him to this?
Well, I think the things that led him to this are very connected. I think that he started something. There is an element there that we don't yet understand, whether it's emotional, mental, drugs, alcohol, something. Something is the trigger. Something set him off. Something, pushed him down this long slide. This slide into negativity, into violence, into whatever he did, I don't think was just his life plan. I think that he contributed to it somehow.
But he's being accused of premeditated murder, right?
Right, which is the worst kind because you decide you have to kill somebody and then you go out and do it.
I think it's funny how a court can decide which is worse, murder or not. The person's still dead.
They're not claiming, the lawyer isn't saying whether he actually shot her or not. His girlfriend is Riva Steenkamp.
She's hot, and she was about to be on like some reality show or something like that.
Yeah, she's a model, and she was shot, and supposedly it was Pistorius said it was when a intruder came into the house, but now police are saying it was him.
Because didn't he say he went into combat mode or something like that?
Yes, and
I don't know. It seems like a lot of evidence is against him. Do you think he has a leg to stand on?
Oh, that was a bit below the belt.
Oh, hey now. Well, and also, he may have killed his girlfriend. We don't know. But he's still more popular on Twitter than Chris Brown.
When news breaks, we're the first there to mock it.
Chubby Checker's in the news again.
Oh, it is a porn show.
Yeah. Well,
the kid was right.
He is suing because there is an app that uses his name, and the app is like 99 cents on Palm OS.
Oh, what does this app do, Nick?
This app it allows you to guess penis sizes.
What is it called, this app?
The app is called the Chubby Checker.
I really like him being mad about it makes this story even better, because who even knows? Did you even remember that Chubby Checker was still alive?
No, but there's a couple of interesting facts that contribute to this. You know, of course, obviously he's famous for his one-hit wonder in 1960 called The Twist.
And he has milked that for all it's worth for over 40 years or so, I think.
53 years, yeah, 53 years. However, the funniest thing about this app, it's only available on Palm, the Palm OS, which I didn't realize anyone actually had Palm still, but yeah, there you go. And it was only downloaded 84 times.
So what's he worried about?
I don't know, but it's hilarious.
When another has-been news, Little Richard is suing for the same reasons.
This is definitely weird news, and excuse me because I don't speak Spanish, but Edith Casa.
So her name is in English would be interpreted as Edith Houses?
I think Edith Holmes.
Edith Holmes.
Yeah, Edith Holmes. So she marries this guy called Victor Cingolani, the man who was convicted of killing her twin sister.
What?
Yes.
There's a lot of death in today's podcast. First, what's going on here? And then, so he's convicted, and he's in prison.
Yes, they had a Valentine's wedding. What really screws this up? By the way, what was really disturbing is it's always like in Poland, in Romania, in Argentina, in Colombia. It's never like in Seattle. A man is convicted of marrying his,
Oh, you haven't ever done a search on Florida news then, apparently.
Yeah, well, that's completely different. Well, you heard about this Heinz deal, did you? H.J. Heinz Company?
Yeah, Warren Buffett owns Heinz. I didn't even know that. Is that true?
Yes. Well, his investment company called 3G.
When I say Warren and then 3G, I think Warren G. And Nate Dogg. Remember those guys? Oh, those were the days.
In the clip and one in the hole. Nate Dogg is about to make some bodies turn cold. Now they dropping and yelling. It's a tad bit late. Nate Dogg and Warren G had to regulate.
I'm sorry. What did you say? I was too busy getting into that song.
Basically, they're going to have to pay Warren Buffett and his 3G are going to have to pay $1.4 billion for this breakup of Heinz.
Oh, so essentially, like, if they back out of a deal, it's like a $23 billion deal.
Yeah.
For ketchup.
Yeah, so if they back out of this deal, they have to pay 5% of the value of the
What?
deal, which is...
That is... I wonder how long it's going to be before someone buys the out of Miracle Whip.
That's a fat guy
What's
trick.
your... I mean, I really... If I'm going to say condiments, though, what are the top condiments? I would say, for
Ketchup's
sure...
number one.
Like, what's that mustard out of Beaverton that is German?
Oh, Beaver...
Hessenpfeffer or something like that.
Yeah, but it's Beaver Creek mustard or something like that.
Yeah, it's so good. And they have a dill version that
Yeah.
I want to have inside me at all times. And
The
then
other thing is, though, a lot of these things, like the horseradishes they make, the creamy horseradishes, it's just horseradish and mayonnaise. You know that, right?
I don't care. It's delicious. So that's one of my favorite. But my all-time favorite is salsa.
I tend to like salsas with fruit in them, like mango salsa
Yes.
and pineapple salsa.
Yes. I swear to God, you're my twin cousin or something. Because Mrs. Renfro's mango habanero salsa.
Oh, now you're talking.
But yeah, I don't know who Mrs. Renfro is, but and she may be dead, but I want to marry her.
All right.
And 'cause then I know I get free salsa.
You know, she's probably like 95 or something.
I don't care. And you can feed me salsa intravenously, then I'd be the happiest guy alive. Hands-free podcast.
Hey, so what do you think about this whole Pope story?
He's retiring, right?
Right, so at the end of February, he's retiring, and then he was saying it was old age, it was catching up on him. And now I'm starting to read all these stories like he's caught in some scandal, and that's why he's had to retire.
No, do they want people to... I mean, is he, or is he just an old ass?
You know, it's not been made very obvious, but what's being suggested in some... I would say B press areas, like not the mainstream press, is that the Vatican Bank is about to undergo some major scandals for money laundering and some illegalities, and he's basically trying to save the church by resigning.
Oh, man. Well, the only thing... Because he started a Twitter account a couple of months ago, and everybody went nuts. And now I say that he's resigning. Now's the time to start following him on Twitter, because Benedict pics... Come on, huh? All I want is access to the Vatican Library. Have you seen the documentaries on that?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely amazing, and it's worth millions and millions.
And you what do you have to be a cardinal or something to be able to go in there? You can't just...
Yeah, or you have to get special permission.
And the only person that can borrow any book from that library is the Pope.
Right.
It's not a library then. It's a book bank.
But I think you can get special permission. There's sort of different levels of library too.
You're still clogging on your keyboard, sir. Are you a
absolutely
professional
not
or not? Come on. Would you just decide?
I'm not touching anything, so I guess you must be hearing something else.
Yeah, that could be taken misconstrued. This is why that kid thinks this is a porn show. I'm not touching anything, sir.
I think there's shenanigans afoot somewhere. And there's all these sex abuse issues that the Vatican's going through. There's some legal money issues. You know, the Italian bank shut the Vatican Bank down for a while because they said they were money laundering. And I mean, where is this going to end?
Let's just hope it does end.
Yeah, things are out of control.
Oh, I was talking about the podcast.
Oh,
It's the end of the world as we know it.
Well, thank God that's over.
Yeah. It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel
Well, there you have it. Another fine edition of the Pants Free Podcast. And if you don't follow us on Twitter, it's at Pants Free Pod, and Facebook, Pants Free Pod as well. You like us, look us up. We're also now on Vine, Pants Free Pod. You like that app, right, Nick?
yeah, I've used it 3 or 4 times. Made a couple
And
car
you-
videos, a couple of dog videos, you know.
Yeah, and I've only seen you do like a car commercial every time. Like, here's the new Mazda XL.
No, the Mazda Extra Large. I tried a couple different things. I did some dog stuff. You know, I have some ideas.
Listen,
and stuff
you're just feeding into why that kid thinks this is a porn podcast. Some dog stuff.
Yes, kid, he's probably older than both of us, but there you go.
Well, for Nick J. Miles, I'm Belonius Francine Marconi. For Nick J. Miles saying,
Vote for me! I want to be the next Pope.
Pants Free Pope!
The Pope is pants free. He wears a dress, for God's sake.
Pantalones a libero!
Pants Free Podcast. Pants Free Podcast. Pants Free Podcast.